Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Altenew October release video hop, and I have a couple of fun, festive, holiday-themed projects to share with you using some of these new October release products. I'm going to walk you through some of the products I'll be using. First up is the Joy stencil set. There are 2 stencils in the set. I love how the back of the packaging kind of shows you what you can do. You can do solid stenciling or add the stripes. And then you have the Joy die, which coordinates perfectly with the stencil set, but can also be used by itself. And then you have the little mini Joy Greetings sentiment stamp set and the Joy Greetings die set. And that gives you some sentiment options. Okay, I'm going to start with the Joy die. There's 2 dies in the Joy die set. This big solid Joy, and then there's a little outline. I'm doing this big bold jumbo Joy out of white cardstock, hammer mill to be exact. And I pulled out the old Altenew stamp wheel. And this is great for holding down your cardstock, holding down your stencil, ready to rock and roll. You don't need any tape. Okay, going to be using all Altenew inks, starting with Frosty Pink. And I do have my little handy dandy little ink stand. I love this one, just got it because it holds the round shape. I'm going to do kind of a pinky red gradient blend for the J. Okay, so we got Frosty Pink, Cool Berry, and then a little ruby red. So this is going to be kind of traditional. Little red, green, and for the O, little yellow. And we're just going to have fun blending it up. I love this big jumbo Joy. And you could do the second stencil if you want to add stripes to it. But I just kind of fell in love with that smooth, flat color. And so I left it. Okay, now for the green, we have Forest Glades, and then to bring in the va-va-va-voom, Forest Fern, okay? And I'm just having a go. I'm just pulling out inks willy-nilly and blending my heart out. Now I had to stop and show you. After I peel off the stencil, I'm going to pan over to my left and give you a little peek behind the scenes. A lot of you might not know this, but oftentimes when I'm crafting, I have spectators. Furry little spectator friends who like to keep an eye on me. This is Frank, or better known as Frankie, my oldest son, Bo. This is his cat. He was supposed to go back to Germany, but he ran off into the woods the day of the flight, missed the flight, so now he lives here. And he likes to just stare. And then, not to be left out, we have Hank the Tank. He likes to lay at the top of the steps. I know he looks miserable, but he's just lazy. He's having his afternoon siesta, and he likes to keep an eye on all things, especially Frank. They're working out their friendship. It's getting better, okay? I wouldn't say it's wonderful, but it is a lot better. And, okay, so I'm going to get back to work. We're going to blend the O. So I love how the J and the Y are all separated, so you can blend them all different colors. Okay, so for the O, I'm going to add yellow tones. So we got the red, yellow, and green. First we have, what is this, Buttercream? But you can certainly customize this in a million different color choices. And also there's another stencil in the set that allows you to add stripes. If I forget to mention an ink color or anything I use, it'll all be listed in the description box. Okay, so for a little darkness to that Buttercream, we have a little Warm Sunshine. And I am using the same blender brush for all these 3 tones. I have that scrap paper, and I'm always kind of like brushing off excess ink onto that scrap paper, trying to get the truest color I can. Here we have Caramel Toffee for that darkest, richest, yellowy shade. And then pull this off and look at how beautiful that blended. You could also go ahead and add stripes if you want, but I just love the way that this looked. So I'm going to leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and emboss a little sub-sentiment that coordinates with that big blended Joy. I pulled out the Joyful Greetings little sentiment stamp set, and I'm going to emboss this sentiment that says peace, love, and I'm going to emboss it in white onto a little strip of black cardstock. And I'll just kind of nestle that in with that big Joy. So it'll be like peace, love, and joy. Okay, I've got my little tweezers here. I've been using the tweezers to hold when I have something small. That way you don't melt your fingertips off when you're embossing with the heat gun. I don't have big tubs of embossing powder. I just have the tubs that it comes in because I have minimal storage space. That's always been my biggest problem, is storage space. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. To trim out this little sentiment strip, I have my little mini guillotine Tim Holtz trimmer. I love this thing. I have both sizes, the mini and the bigger one, and I use them every single time I make a card. Okay, I have a panel of kind of soft gray cardstock just to pop up on a white card base. I love the gray and white with this bold joy, and I'm using my Altenew tape runner, and I trimmed out some little strips of solid color cardstock. You've probably seen me do this a million times, and I'm not going to apologize for it because it brings me joy, and I love it, and I never do get sick of it, and I feel like it's an instant mood booster. If you ever don't know what to do, maybe the card's just not feeling it for you, like you just not getting the warm fuzzies, try stripping it up on a card. I'm telling you what, sometimes it'll just bring a little life. And then there'll be times where you're like, I think I've overdone the stripes. But then you have to say to yourself, can you really overdo the stripes? No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. And here's the thing too. This is what I call the Christmas rainbow. Okay, because I started with the pinks and the reds and I ended with the greens. I left out the blues and the purples, and somehow it feels a little Christmassy to me, but also rainbowy. We're just going to go with it. Just go with it. And I will tell you, I put those strips on an angle, and the angle is going the opposite angle as the joy. You'll see here. See how the joy is going on one angle and the stripes are going on the other angle? See where I was going with that? I did have a little idea tucked in my back pocket. And everything's getting popped up and nestled, including a few sparkling clear sequins. Adhering those with a little Barely Arts glue. And look at this card. Now, I don't know about you, but this is giving me holiday joy up to the high heavens. And I'm here for that, okay? I wanted to show you one more way to use that joy die. Something a little bit fun, a little funky, a little festive. I have a panel of dark green, kind of evergreen cardstock. I think a lot of the cardstock I'm using today is Concord 9th. I'll have it linked. If I'm not using Concord 9th, I'm probably using Simon's Stamp. Between the two of those, I'm going to turn this into a joy shaker. So I'm putting on the back some score tape. Any type of adhesive will do. I trimmed down a little piece of acetate to size, and I'm going to slap it on the back of this dark green cardstock. And then I'm going to take that detailed joy die, flip it over. See, now you have a joy shaker window. Here is the detailed joy die. I'm going to die cut it into some matte metallic silver cardstock. Now this is a very dainty die, and sometimes I like to do the old redneck slap it, throw it on the floor until it pops out. I find it gets better results than if you poke at it with a pokey tool. Sometimes the old redneck slap it works the best. I'm telling you, try it. If you ever can't get your die out, your die cut out of the die, throw it on the floor. It works every time. So I glued that right onto that acetate. And now I do not recommend this, but I didn't think of it until after. I wanted to add a little sub-sentiment, again from the Joyful Greetings, and I decided to emboss it right onto that dark green panel. But I had already created my shaker window. I had already adhered the silver metallic die cut. I do not recommend embossing something this far into the game, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. So I carefully poured on that white embossing powder. And now you can see it got a little bit, like little bits around. So that's where you got to take a dry paintbrush, go in there, get off that excess embossing. Make it look sharp as a tack. Make it look like you mean business. And then you're going to get that heat gun hot because you want to emboss this quick. Quick as a cat. Quick as Frank the cat. Can I tell you something about Frank the cat? We put in a little cat door down in the basement for him so that he could go in and out because he loves to wake everyone up at 5 in the morning to go outside. And we got tired of it, so my husband put in a little cat door. Has he used the cat door? No, he has not. He continues to come up to, he picks somebody. It's either me, my husband, or one of the daughters, and he just stands by the foot of your bed and he will cry like the Dickens until you get up and let him out at 5 in the morning. And he's like clockwork too. Okay, by the way, I poured in some sequins, a mixture that I had in my stash. I'll try to link them up. And I used some of those waffle flower foam adhesive strips. And there you have a simple but classy joy shaker with a little embossed sub-sentiment. May the season bring you joy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure and check out the rest of the Altenew October release video hop. There's some amazing prizes. You can leave comments for your chance to win. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.